Hey, welcome. We all look at the sun and think of light and warmth. But what if we started seeing it as a financial asset? Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're explaining how a simple sunbeam gets turned into a powerful, long-term income stream. Let's dive right in.
It really all boils down to this one question. How do you possibly take something as everyday and, well, free as sunlight and transform it into a predictable financial engine? One that can run for decades? That's the core puzzle we're going to solve right now.
All right, so first things first, let's talk about the fundamental economic power hiding in plain sight. How do we actually unlock the value that's just beaming down on us every single day?
To really get a grip on the economics, we have to follow the journey. So let's trace the step-by-step process of turning sunlight not just into power, but into real, tangible economic value.
What's so amazing here is just how direct this value chain is. It all starts with capturing sunlight with panels, which then convert it to electricity. Now, a really critical point, this whole process uses zero fuel and creates zero pollution. That clean power then gets sent out to power our society. And here it is, the key economic moment. Every single unit of that electricity has a market value. It creates a straight line from a sunbeam to income.
And that brings us to a really crucial concept. Electricity itself is a commodity. Think about it. Just like water or the data on your phone, it has a price, and it can be bought and sold. Every kilowatt hour a solar panel pumps out is basically a product that's ready for the market.
Okay, so we've got a product, but how does that value start to build up into a consistent, regular income stream? Let's look at the engine that actually drives those daily payments.
This slide really shows the core idea in its purest form. It's almost elegant, isn't it? As long as the sun is out and the equipment is doing its job, electricity is being made and sold. This sets up a daily, super predictable cycle of generating income.
And we are not talking about a short-term gig here. The solar panels at the heart of these projects, they are literally engineered to last for 20 to 30 years. And what's really kicked this into high gear is that the cost of these super long-lasting assets has just plummeted over the years, making that long horizon for generating income look even better.
So, when that income starts rolling in every day, where does it all go? Well, it's got three main jobs. First, a piece of it covers maintenance, to keep the system running perfectly. Another chunk goes to paying back the original costs of building the project. And the rest? That becomes the steady return for investors, paid out over that really long lifespan.
Okay, so we know it makes money for a long time, but what makes it so stable, so reliable? Let's take a look at the actual blueprint for that stability.
When you stack it up against a lot of other assets, the income from a solar project is incredibly stable and predictable. That stability is often locked in with long-term contracts, but it all comes down to three unshakable pillars.
This table just lays it all out so perfectly. First up, the fuel, sunlight. It's totally free and unlimited. That just wipes out any price volatility right there. You don't have to worry about a fuel shipment getting delayed or the price suddenly spiking. Second, the operations are super lean. Solar panels have very few moving parts, so maintenance costs are low and really predictable. And third, the demand for electricity is constant. Society always needs power. Now here's the kicker. This incredible stability is often locked in for decades through something called a power purchase agreement, or PPA. That's where a buyer agrees to buy the electricity at a price that's already been negotiated. These three things together, they create a powerful financial bedrock.
So as we start to wrap this up, let's just zoom out for a second. What's the one big idea, the key takeaway from this whole process? When you strip everything else away, it really comes down to this one simple, powerful phrase. By turning free sunlight into an essential product, solar projects become, and I quote, a long-term and reliable source of income. That's the bottom line. That's the core economic truth of it all.
And that leaves us with one final big thought. We've basically cracked the code on how to turn a sunbeam into a stable, long-term financial asset, often with prices locked in for years to come. So if we can create this kind of predictable value from sunlight, what other abundant resources out there are just waiting for their own economic blueprint?